It's time for our Ask the Attorney segment. Attorney Stewart Vance from the Vance Law Firm is here in the studio to answer your legal questions this morning. So you can go ahead and give us a call if you have a question for the attorney. 334-420-WSFA or 9732 on your keypad. We want to remind you, Stewart is a personal injury attorney, although you have a wealth of knowledge that you've been able to share, or at least point us in the right direction. But your primary practice deals with personal injury.
That's right. That's right. Our practice is normally helping day in, day out, helping people who have been injured by no fault of their own, by the negligence or reckless behavior of someone else in different settings. I can't even begin to tell you all the different things people call about. But if you find that you or a loved one have been hurt, injured, killed, whatever it might be, call and ask, because there's always worth the phone call. It's free, but also just to get the direction. You mentioned that, just to know what may come next. What do I do next? Those kinds of things. Well, that's a lot of times we just don't know.
That's right. You are a really great resource to call and at least say, if you can't help me, who can?
Right. Put me in the right direction. Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Point me in the right direction. While we're waiting on those calls to come in, we do have a question that was emailed to us from a viewer. This is Brittany G. from Pike Road. She says, I let a friend borrow my car to take to Auburn, and she was hit by a drunk driver. Now, she's completely fine, but the car is totaled. The police were called and made a report, wondering where I go from here, and does it matter that she's not on my insurance?
It does not. I mean, most all policies, and the officer that was here a minute ago, he and I were talking off the air, and I said, he could just stay and do all my questions because he gets a lot of these, and that's a situation like that. Policies can be different, but normally, if you lend your car or give your permission for someone to drive your car, as long as they're a licensed driver and you don't know of any reason they shouldn't be driving, your policy is going to cover them. So yes, the car should be covered. Now, in that particular situation, the drunk driver is the responsible party. So assuming that person had insurance, and that's a big assumption because so many people don't have it, but their policy should cover the car first, and separately any injuries to the person you loan the car to. However, if they don't have the proper insurance, then yes, the coverage of your vehicle follows your vehicle. So if I lend my vehicle to a neighbor, friend, family member, whomever it is, again, as long as I don't know, and I get to that because let's say you have that friend that my gosh, they've had several DUIs, they've been in trouble, they don't have insurance. If you start lending your car to that type person, you may find that the policy does not cover it. But for the most part, your policy is going to follow your vehicle, whether you're driving it or someone else is driving it, as long as they didn't steal your car.
Good to know. As long as you gave them permission to drive. That's a key point to make right there. We have Bertha on the line from Greenville. Hi, Bertha. Go ahead with your question.
Hi. I live in Heatherton Apartment, and I've been here about 14 or 15 years, and they just find the water and the shower is dirty, and they're telling everybody we got to move, but they're not telling us. They had this discussion in a meeting at the board meeting, and someone I know is the member of the board, and they told me they're waiting on money to help us move out from in here. So I want to know, what can I do?
Well, first of all, so sorry you're in that situation, because just the idea of having to move from someone's home can be stressful, and have not knowing what's coming next. So to what you and I are talking about, knowing what to do, you're asking the right questions, Bertha. If you know somebody on the board, keep talking to them, stay connected with them, and any information you find out, share with the other people in the place that you live, because information can do so much good and bad, but it can be so helpful that you know what's coming, what's going on. But ultimately, let's say there's some problems with the water, they do have to move people around. They should absolutely, whoever you've been paying rent to be there, or whomever's been paying it, depending on the situation of what the facility is, you shouldn't have to come out of your own pocket for something you didn't cause the situation. So if the board is wrestling with, wait, the water pipes are bad, the plumbing's bad, whatever it might be, it's their responsibility to get people in a safe environment or to replace the situation where the water that they're, your inhabitability is something you safely should assume any place you live. If it's an apartment, if it's an elderly facility, if it's a rehab facility, whatever it might be, if someone is holding themselves out as that kind of business and they're leasing, renting the apartment, renting those facilities, charging somebody to house a loved one, whether it's an elderly place, a rehab facility, part of what comes along with that is the water, sewage, all should be fine. There should be heat, there should be cool in the summertime. All those things, you should be able to safely assume that. If it's not, that's when you should reach out to us or someone like us. That's not the area that I practice in, but it can quickly turn into a personal injury claim. That someone, they didn't have the proper AC and they've fallen out because of a heat stroke, whatever it might be. In this case, you find out that the water's been bad, they knew it's been bad, whoever they are, and they didn't tell somebody. That gets into what we do day in, day out. But like this, we would need to know a little more information. But staying in touch with the board and your person on the board is step one to sort of make sure you're up to speed on what's going on. Yep. So I hope wish the best for you, Bertha.
Information is power,
That's
right?
exactly
so
right.
the more you have, the better you can prepare. All right, we will take more of your legal questions with Attorney Stewart Vance here in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back.